I welcome all the learners to YuktMind initiative of 10 minutes and newspaper done. Today is 16th May and we are ready with our squeezed gist of today's newspaper. It is in common knowledge that UPSC requires minimum 1 to 2 years of preparation. That too if you are lucky. So this is our genuine attempt to save your precious time and make your journey as short as possible. You can see we have selected 6 articles from today's newspaper. You can download the PDF from our Telegram channel or website Daily Current Affair tab. News 1. In a step towards cutting down waste generation in urban India, the government will launch one-stop centers where citizens can deposit old clothes, shoes, books, toys, etc. to be reused or recycled. These special reduce, recycle and reuse RRR centers are to be launched nationwide on May 20th by the Ministry of Housing and Urban Poverty Alleviation. Individuals, institutions, and commercial enterprises can deposit the items at these hubs. The items will then be given to different stakeholders to be refurbished for reuse, which will lead to circular economy. Circular economy is a keyword which you can use in your mains answers. These RRR centers would be set up as a part of a nationwide campaign, Meri Life, Mera Swachh Shahar, My Life, My Clean City, under the aegis of Swachh Bharat Mission Urban 2.0. The objective of the campaign is to take collective action for the protection and conservation of the environment by adopting sustainable daily habits. The 3 Rs form the backbone of waste to wealth and have empowered all the agencies to recycle waste into a host of products, which is more economical in nature. Second news, Space Defense Mission was launched by the Prime Minister during DEF Expo in October 2022 with 75 defense space challenges. These challenges have been categorized into existing Department of Defense production initiatives of innovations for defense excellence, Make 1 and Make 2. Private industries including startups, MSMEs and individual innovators are eligible to apply. The challenges classified into 5 buckets: launch system, satellite system, communication and payload system, ground system and software system provide a holistic 360-degree overview of space. There have been various Government of India's initiative for indigenization in defense, like procurement of capital items from domestic sources under Defense Acquisition Procedure DAP 2020. Announcement of 18 major defense platforms for industry-led design and development in March 2022. Notification of 4 positive indigenization lists of services and 4 positive indigenization list of defense public sector undertakings for which there would be an embargo on the import beyond the timelines indicated. Simplification of industrial licensing process with longer validity period. Liberalization of FDI policy allowing 74% FDI under automatic route. Launch of innovations for defense excellence scheme involving startups, MSMEs. Implementation of public procurement order 2017. Launch of an indigenization portal namely Srijan to facilitate indigenization by Indian industry like MSMEs. Reforms in offset policy with thrust on attracting investment and transfer of technology for defense manufacturing by assigning higher multipliers. Establishment of 2 defense industrial corridors, one each in Uttar Pradesh and Tamil Nadu. Opening up of defense research and development for industry, startups and academia with 25% of defense R&D budget. These are great initiatives. Though a tenfold jump in defense exports was reported in 2022-23, the Stockholm International Peace Research Institute (SIPRI) ranked India at number 23 in the list of major arms exporters for 2015 to 2019. India still accounts for only 0.17% of global arms exports. Third news, safety in line of duty. The death of a young house surgeon Vandana Das at the hands of an inebriated patient during a routine medical examination in Kerala has shaken the entire medical community in the country. What is the move by Kerala government? Kerala's move to amend the Kerala Healthcare Service Person and Healthcare Service Institution Act to fortify defences against attacks on healthcare institutions and workers is a welcome act and also an essential intervention in this field. It proposes to bring verbal abuse and violent acts causing simple and grievous hurt under the purview of the Act, enhanced jail term up to 3 years, and a hefty fine up to 50,000 rupees for those found guilty are also being prescribed. The government has proposed time-bound speedy disposal of such cases besides designating one court in each district as a special court to deal with such cases. Fourth news is about sexual harassment in the workplace. 10 years after the Sexual Harassment of Women at Workplace Act 2013 came into force, the Supreme Court bench of India has said there are serious lapses and uncertainty regarding its implementation. How was the act formed? In 1992, Bhavari Devi case, Supreme Court noted the absence of any law enacted to provide for effective enforcement of the basic human right of gender equality, guarantee against sexual harassment at workplace. Supreme Court laid down a set of guidelines in 1997, the Vishakha guidelines, to fill the statutory vacuum till a law could be enacted. The Government of India enacted the Sexual Harassment of Women at Workplace Act on December 9, 2013. Now, what is this act? The POSH Act defines sexual harassment to include all kind of acts like sexual advances, asking for sexual favors, sexually colored remarks, showing pornography, etc. All women employees, whether employed regularly, temporarily, contractually, ad hoc, daily wage basis, apprentices, interns, or even employed without the knowledge of the principal employer, can seek redressal to sexual harassment in the workplace. The law expands the definition of workplace beyond traditional offices to include all kinds of organization across sectors, even non-traditional ones. It applies to all public and private sector organization in India. Now, what are the requirements imposed on employers by this act? The law requires any employer with more than 10 employees to form an internal complaints committee, ICC hereafter, which can be approached by any woman employee to file a formal sexual harassment complaint. It has to be headed by a woman, have at least 2 women employees, another employee, and a third party, such an NGO worker with 5 years of experience familiar with sexual harassment challenges. The Act mandates every district in the country to create a local committee to receive complaints from women working in firms with less than 10 employees and from the informal sector like domestic workers, home based workers, etc. The employer has to file an annual audit report with the district officer about the number of sexual harassment complaints filed and action taken at the end of the year. There are a lot of hurdles to the Act's implementation. Like the Supreme Court in its recent judgment called out the lacuna in the constitution of internal complaint committees, citing a newspaper report that 16 out of the 30 national sports federations in the country had not constituted an ICC till date. The judgment also flagged the improper constitution in cases where the ICCs were established, pointing that they either had an inadequate number of members or lacked a mandatory external member. Other concern is that the Act does not satisfactorily address the accountability issue. The law is largely inaccessible to women workers in the informal sector. Experts have also noted that in workplaces, sexual harassment cases are usually underreported for a number of reasons, like the power dynamics of organizations, fear of professional repercussions, etc. Implementation of this act is significant to make women feel safe at workplaces, which will increase women labor force participation rate and hence the GDP of the country. Fifth news is about Aadhar enabled payment system transaction model. Cybercriminals are now using silicon thumbs to operate biometric point of sale devices and biometric ATMs to drain users' bank account. The Aadhar enabled payment system is a bank led model which allows online financial transactions at point of sale devices and micro ATMs of any bank using Aadhar authentication. The model removes the need for OTPs, bank accounts, and other financial details. It allows fund transfers using only the bank name, Aadhar number, or fingerprint capture during Aadhar enrollment, according to the National Payments Corporation of India. Now, how is biometric information being leaked? While Aadhar data breaches have been reported in 2018, 19, and 22, the Unique Identification Authority of India has denied any breach of data. However, UIDAI's database is not the only source from where data can be leaked. Aadhar numbers are readily available in the form of photocopies, soft copies, and criminals are using Aadhar enabled payment system to breach user information. Now, how should we secure the Aadhar biometric information? The Unique Identification Authority of India is proposing an amendment to the Aadhar Act 2016, which will require entities in possession of an Aadhar number to not share details unless the Aadhar numbers have been redacted or blacked out through appropriate means, both in print and electronic forms. The UIDAI has also implemented a new two-factor authentication mechanism that uses a machine learning-based security system combining finger minutiae and finger image capture to check the liveness of a fingerprint. Additionally, users are also advised to ensure that they log their Aadhaar information by visiting the UIDAI website or using the mobile app. This will ensure that their biometric information, even if compromised, cannot be used to initiate financial transactions. Now, what can be done if such financial scam is committed? Users are advised to inform their banks and the concerned authorities as soon as possible. Timely reporting can ensure that any money transferred using fraudulent means is returned to the victim. The RBI, in a circular, has stated that a customer's entitlement to zero liability arises where the unauthorized transaction occurs and the customer notifies the bank within 3 working days of receiving a communication from the bank regarding such unauthorized transaction. Sixth news is about Transformer, the machine learning model that powers ChatGPT. Machine learning, a subfield of artificial intelligence, teaches computers to solve tasks based on structured data, language, audio, or images by providing examples of inputs and the desired outputs. This is different from traditional computer programming, where programmers write a sequence of specific instructions. Hence, the machine learning model learns to generate desirable outputs by adjusting its many knobs, often in the millions. Machine learning has a history of developing methods with handcrafted features that may work only for specific narrow problems. Such handcrafted features are combined with simple or shallow learning classifiers that typically have up to tens of thousands of knobs. In technical parlance, knobs are called parameters. Deep neural networks, DNNs. In the first part of the 2010s, deep neural networks took over machine learning by storm, replacing the classic pipeline of handcrafted features and simple classifiers. Deep neural networks ingest a complete document or image and generate a final output without the need to specify a particular way of extracting features. It doesn't need any kind of programming. The resurgence of deep neural networks in the 2010s is attributed to the availability of large-scale data and fast parallel computing chips called graphics processing unit. The models used for text or images were still different. Recurrent neural networks were popular in language understanding, while convolutional neural networks were popular in computer vision, that is, a machine understanding of the visual world. Now, attention is a technical parameter used in the transformers, which is a DNN architecture that has today gained popularity across all modalities. A transformer is a two-part neural network. The first part is an encoder that ingests the input sentence in the source language, for example English, and the second part is a decoder that generates the translated sentence in the target language, for example Hindi in case of India. The encoder converts each word in the source sentence to an abstract numerical form that captures the meaning of the word within the context of the sentence and stores it in a memory bank. Just like a person would write or speak, the decoder generates one word at a time, referring to what has been generated so far when by looking back at the memory bank to find the appropriate word. Now, both these processes use a mechanism called attention. A key improvement over previous methods is the ability of a transformer to translate long sentence or paragraph correctly. The adoption of transformers subsequently exploded. The capital D in ChatGPT, for example, stands for transformer. The other GPT is generative pre-training transformer. What is this attention mechanism? Attention in machine learning allows a model to learn how much importance should be given to different inputs. For example, in translation, attention should allows the model to select or weigh words from the memory bank when deciding which word to generate next. For example, while describing an image, attention allows models to look at the relevant parts of the image while generating the next word. Transformers are basically enhanced version of attention models. They feature several attention layers both within the encoder to provide meaningful context across the input sentence or image and from the decoder to the encoder when generating a translated sentence or describing an image. In the last year, transformer models have become larger and train on more data than before. When these colossus train on written text, they are called large language models (LLMs). ChatGPT uses hundreds of billions of parameters, where GPT-4 uses hundreds of trillions. There are several concerns about it. The scientific community is yet to figure out on how to evaluate these models. There are also instances of hallucination whereby models make confident but wrong claims. We must urgently address societal concerns such as data privacy, creative work, etc. Now, UPSC generally asks such questions on new technology in prelims, like Industrial Revolution 4.0 was asked in 2020 prelims. European Parliament is trying to bring Artificial Intelligence Act. China's Cyberspace Administration of China has also asked companies to promote positive energy. People like Elon Musk, Apple co-founder Steve Wozniak signed an open letter asking AI labs to stop the training of AI model more powerful than GPT-4 for 6 months. If you want to read more about ChatGPT, it is covered on 4th May 8th News. You can go and read it for better understanding. Thank you for watching. Keep visiting our website, Telegram, Instagram, and Twitter handles.